All right. Just looking to do a little pre-market analysis. Take a look at what happened in the overnight and then see if I can get some sort of insight into what the market could possibly do this morning. Yesterday we had some killer calls. First call was let's see here. Where was it open? The open was like right here. So the first call was pre-market. We were talking about how this volume down here could attract price for the open, and sure enough, we went right down into it and we tested it. And then price put in a little distribution right here. We started accepting price a little bit higher right here. And then we talked about what would have to happen in order to switch our bias long. But also during this time, we started getting a little structure change on a smaller time frame chart. This line was actually lower, but we moved it up higher during the day. But this was actually down a little bit, and I think it reacted with some of the levels over here. But it's interesting, yeah. See where that structure line break is. It's right at this point of control from the pre-market, now from the opening candle, and then So it's an interesting level. But we talked about the need for a volume build right here in the zone to kind of fill in the wicks or fill in the tapers of these candles, and then we got it, and then we pushed up. We had a couple of levels marked out on our chart pre-market. This dash level is kind of a level that I'm like not really sure if it was. I wasn't sure if it was playing. That's why it's dashed. The blue levels were low volume nodes and structure breaks on the longer time time frame charts. We had our 5-day POC right down here, which was interesting, and that played a role a little bit later, as we bounce off of this, etc. And then we had our overnight low down here. That was key, but that was formed right before the open. All right, so we went up. We did two little distributions up here. We pushed through the low volume node at the top, and then we put in a distribution right here. And this all looked pretty good to me. I mean, we put in this distribution here. Oh, no. This one, when this one went in, it was really janky. And it looked kind of like this one. And the argument was, what would volume have to do in order for us to start getting short? And I put this red box out there and I said it's got to kind of start building volume in this box below this node. And sure enough, we started building it, and this was a big node, and then this was empty, and then there's like a node up here, and then I filled this in, pushed up, couldn't get through there, doubled down on this, and then we saw it break lower. And what was interesting about both of these candles is they basically went from the top of this node and they dropped 100 points and they kind of came down. So we had 3 candles in a row, which basically spanned this entire area between the low volume nodes on the 25-day rolling and the 5-day rolling. We put in this, I left this drawing on the chart, put in an equal distribution here, kind of a nice little bell curve. Then we put in some weight to the downside, some acceptance of price lower, but we didn't really break through this. We rotated back up into that box and that volume rejected. We came back down, we hit the POC. Accepted price. Then we started recognizing that the upper distribution was kind of starting to look like two separate distributions, so we kind of worked off that difference. And then let's see, yeah, and then when price closed, then price actually closed, settled basically right at that 5-day POC. So 5-day for rolling, I think that's a 25-day rolling POC. Yeah, 5-day, 25-day rolling. So we ended right at where price was accepted during the day. And then we had the Asia Open, and the Asia Open swept this little volume node down here, from here to here. Then we pushed back up into this. That volume still rejected, pushed it down, and now we just had this candle that just went all the way from here, all the way up to here, and we had this right here. So now I think what we got to be looking at is for the day going forward, I think we're looking at this volume. I think this is certainly going to be getting tested at the open. The buying looks spotty up here. It looks like the bulls can't get a grip on anything. And acceptance here would make sense. And then we have a bunch of inflation data tomorrow at 7:30. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had a balance day tomorrow and today and we just stayed within the initial balance or thereabouts. You know, we're looking at this is exactly what we did yesterday. We were in the IB all day long, right? Set the IB down here, set the IB up here, and then we just never went through it until Asia. So the IB held yesterday, and that's really a kind of a rare thing to not have either side of that IB break. So if we were to just put a volume profile just on like yesterday's price action, right? Yeah. So there we go. Yeah, we do have two. Oh, that's interesting. We do have two distributions. Yeah. So we got this big boy down here. Then we got this little one up here. I think this little one is janky, right? It's showing all sorts of like rejection. I think that all this volume up here, we're just seeing it wanting to cascade down. So I think we're going to take this blue line here. We're going to put that blue line up there. And we're just going to, it was cute down below. It played a little bit down below, but I think now we got to put it up here. And let's go ahead and look at a different time frame and see what that's gonna yield and as far as insight. So let's come over and look at the negative or the narrative. Yeah, it's interesting how that upper distribution here doesn't show as well as it did on the other time frames, but okay, so this is really kind of interesting here in that this low swept these lows over here, and these are kind of key. Maybe not quite. maybe not quite as important as I'd like to think. All right, let's move that one over here. We're gonna get rid of this guy. Let's turn this guy down a little bit more. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Oh, come on. All right, let's see here. These guys are drawing some of these levels out. Well, the ICT traders are loving that. Look at that. Wow. Single prints right there, single prints right here, single prints right here. That's the recent one. There you go. Hmm.